All right. Gonna have a conversation, brother to brother,
All right.
with my brother James Lindesay from Kansas City, Kansas.
KU Medical Center.
Yeah. So we both grew up. When we were growing up, what was your address at that time?
Well, I actually got to live at 632 Freeman at first. I just don't remember it. The first place I remember living is 717 Epic.
And so she probably bought that house, but at first they were.
My grandmother
Yeah.
and her bought the house and put a bathroom on it, and so yeah. And certainly by the time you were born, I think we were living there. But certainly I don't even remember living.
Now, our grandmother, Eleanor Harriet,
Mhm.
she had a rooming house, wasn't it?
She sure did.
She owned the house.
Yeah, 2 upstairs roomers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last ones were
What was the names?
Mr. Chambers was one.
It was Mr. Cotton. That wasn't somebody else, was it? Huh?
Maybe it's Mr. Cotton.
Huh?
Maybe it's Mr. Cotton. Yeah.
It seemed like I remember that name.
That's probably the name, Mr. Cotton, not Mr. Chambers. So you're right.
It seemed like I remember.
There was another one. That was a couple that lived up there.
And didn't she have a piano down there, downstairs,
she did.
or whatever? Was it in the hall? She had to kind of petition
I
out.
think it was in that rooming area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the common hall.
Because she played piano and would sing a little bit and did that thing.
Teach us how to play certain songs.
Uh-huh. So, growing up, I remember, I got a lot of us learned some of the electronic stuff, just following, playing around, tinkering with you and stuff. So why don't you tell me some, as far back as you can remember, what got you interested in science and just gadgets and that whole thing?
Well, I'm even old enough for my great-grandmother, Florence Crayge. Florence, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, I got my name, Crayge, right?
Yeah, Crayge. You're from the family name. Yep.
Yeah.
She was proud to be the only black woman in her community that could read or write. She had a 2nd grade education, so even by the time I was in 2nd grade, first kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, she would sometimes help me with my writing and spelling and stuff like that. And of course, if I did, even my writing was a little better than hers, but still, it was great having her do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, our whole family was always like, into education and those kinds of things.
Now you talking about, is it Big Bon or Big Mom?
Yeah, whatever we called it, because we didn't, we couldn't.
They probably were saying Big Mom, but we probably
right,
said
exactly.
Big Bon or whatever.
Right, that was it, that's what we called it.
But I remember her, I just remember her making us, what was it, like ketchup sandwiches?
Yeah,
and
ketchup sandwiches, oh my gosh.
And
I remember those.
Yeah, and just little things like that or whatever. Or my only memory, I remember her looking out and smiling and saying, "Oh, Craig," and she said Craig because my name was Craig,
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's kind of.
Look at the boys.
But anyway, you were saying, but
Yeah. And then I started tinkering. I think Lloyd actually kind of showed us how to take a wire and hook it from a battery to the side of the light, from the bottom of the battery to the side of the light bulb, and then the tip of the light bulb to the top of the battery.
So this is Lloyd Brown singer?
Yeah, the big Lloyd.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I think he did that while we were pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started thinking, well, so you need to have this electricity to flow through something for it to even work. I'm trying to figure out how that worked. And then I started, like Mom was getting me, whenever I had a toy, whenever I had an interest in a toy that had anything to do with, science and stuff, she tried to scrape whatever money she could, during Christmas or whatever. And, to get the cheapest version that she could get to afford with her, salary. And we would make it work. We would make it do stuff and push buttons, make lights come on. We had, you may not remember, but yeah, all 3 of us had 2 tables and my little controller, and one light's on the top of the table that's the second table, and the other light was back behind. And we somehow you all set it up so that everything, all the light was blocked out. When you turn off the light behind, the person be invisible.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, I know what it was. No, you turned off the light behind, but the light beyond in front was, and so it was invisible.
Yeah.
So someone's hand would come out. You just see a hand there, and it's like, it literally made us invisible. And I'm like, wow. So we were doing a lot of fun stuff like that with kids. Stephen had our radio station, our sister, back in the closet. CLJ.
Yeah, right.
There's the station there. Say, okay, hey.
Yeah,
and she'd come up with stories and have her little brothers under there in that dark room with Mixie Mex mascot. Our dog was the mascot.
Right,
and our names are signed on that wall, which is now torn down, of course.
But that's when you were teaching me guitar. I'm playing How Dry I Am or something on it was like the guitar only had one string on it. Down.
So some of the strings were broken. But
and all that down.
Right. Probably one of the strings was broken. I mean, we have more than one string. But we never.
I played on one string.
We never could go to the store and buy another string, so we took care of that guitar. We had a Spanish guitar. We had a piano at that. We had a piano in what we could have called the dining room, but it was a hall that connected the living room, which is where the girls slept.
Right.
Okay, so there was a living room with the ground furnace that you have to step on. You're gonna get a checkerboard pattern on your foot.
Yeah, it was so hot. Yeah,
it'd be really hot. That was what heated the whole house. And then walking down that hall, I think we had a piano eventually in there.
Yeah, it seemed like that one either
that's
came
where
from
it was.
somewhere.
Out to the right would be, the bedroom. And then back behind that in the closet was where we had SCLJ, and you have the recording of that.
Yeah.
So my sister used her recording, and
I have
the tape. Two little reel-to-reels.
Yeah, it's a little small.
And Crayge digitized it maybe a decade or two ago, so we have that. And then the kitchen. We lived on a couch. Yeah. I mean a cot that would fold down. Then my mom saved up and got enough money to put a addition upstairs.
And see, I guess during that time, that must have been when the ceiling was dripping and all.
Yeah, when it would rain, because that's a new addition on the back. So when it would rain, we'd have to put pots around. And
that's one thing I remember is sleeping and
just drip all around us, and it's cold and all that, and we have to empty it out, but we went through, and it was a long time.
And I remember we had a storm cellar. It was the kind that you open that big
tornado,
big
metal door. It was really heavy. And then go down there with the spiders for the tornado alarms would come on. Wait for the all clear with a radio and some canned goods just in case we got hit with the tornado. And those were actually for me. Those were some of the best times because the whole family is all together in that basement.
Yeah.
Kind of a little scared together and all warmth and together in that little small storm cellar.
Well, I know we did a lot of playing outside. And we would take the June bugs and we tie strings around it and fly them around like little.
They would need to rest. You let them rest on the shoulder. And then we got naughty sometimes and tie all the strings together. And there's a knot on that phone wire to this day where they all just kind of tried to fly off and then wrapped around and all have to hold on to each other.
Yeah, we were doing some things that we kind of changed the way we were, like magnifying glasses on bugs and things that weren't really, that we think differently of now.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But the June bug, the June bug, you take a thread and you tie a string on it.
You hold it, you just grab it by the wing, by the side.
They don't try and get away, and they like corn, so you just go to the corn stalk and grab one, and then tie a little thread on the leg.
Without breaking the leg.
If you break the leg, it's no good.
Then you got to do the other leg.
You got to get a new June bug, because that's a miserable June bug with a broken leg. And then you fly, but the problem is when you're kids, you fly until they're exhausted. So then after a while, they just hang there. You gotta let them sit on your shoulder.
And you just swing them around, whatever.
No, they're not flying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I was cool with my Junebug flying in front of me down the street.
Yeah, I know. You and me have the same father birth time, Lindesay, and that's really you're a junior, aren't you?
I remember that at MIT actually.
Yep. And
After I graduated, I had to sign the legal documents.
and he wasn't around us and stuff. Just I guess because of the differences between moms and whatever. Do you have any memories of him?
Well, look, I know he tried to see us. Yeah, you know that.
And I heard,
he was in the Beat, the Volkswagen. He was trying to see us, and we were honoring the wishes of our mom and everything.
She used to talk about, remember how she said you used to see him in his sailor suit and he'd be dancing around.
She loved him when he was in that sailor suit. She really loved him. Yeah.
Once he went off to war and it was an explosion on the ship or something.
Yeah, she said he changed when he got back.
Yeah.
But,
that could be part of the war,
So to tell you the truth, yeah, he would be wanting to see his boys, and we just would look straight ahead and not.
He bought us toys.
He bought us watches. He did.
Wasn't there a horse in the back too?
He bought that.
And somebody stole it?
No, the horse I think Lloyd bought for Lloyd Jr.
Okay.
So it was the swing set. It was some.
It was something.
There was some. There were my train set. My train set was a fancy train set that he had gotten from me. So I mean, look, I have nothing against him. Yeah. And in fact, I wanted to meet him. And I came real close to meet him, but my mom was a little bit hesitant. This was after I'm a professor.
Yeah.
And so she raised me, she fed me. I wasn't gonna make her comfortable.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet him at Carla and Donald's wedding, our cousins or whatever. And and we cordial shake hands or whatever.
I'm sure he was proud of you.
But anyway, you went to Douglas as I did. Because I remember going to Douglas and I remember crying so much and you had to hold my hand on the first day.
First day, I say, look, there's your class, go there, I gotta go to mine.
Yeah.
And you go running and you're crying. I say, I can't remember. I came up to you and I went ahead and walked you to, because I was always that kid that didn't want to be late or anything. So I said, oh man, you make me late, but I went, got you to your class, and then made it to my class barely on time. Yeah. And that would have been, you were kindergarten, that would have been second grade, for me. Miss Jackson's class. And Miss Graham.
That was my grade school, right?
Yeah, that was kindergarten, yeah. So you were going there, but she was my kindergarten also. And even before then, she would come to the house because I was tied to her. And I didn't talk that good. And they were worried that I was a little slow and all that kind of stuff. She would come and give me books and right in front of me say snake, or say different words to try to help me. I mean, can you imagine the teachers coming to the house to help the little kids get ready for school and stuff like that? It was amazing. And that was Miss Graham. Plus, I had a crush on her, right?
Oh yeah, I remember she was.
Yeah, just a sweet, super nice. Who would not fall in love with her? I said, make me about 20 or 30 years older. But in any case, I know the names of all my grade school teachers.
See, I only remember three. I remember Miss Graham. I remember Miss Armstrong. I think was my third grade.
She would be second grade.
Second grade.
Miss Armstrong was second grade. Yeah. So Miss Watts was first grade.
And then I remember
Miss Armstrong.
Mr. Hall was my sixth grade.
Wait a minute. Miss White is first grade. Miss Watts was fourth grade. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Miss Booker was fifth grade.
I remember Miss Booker. And
Mr. Hall was my first role model. Teacher. Because so
he'd be saying Crayge too, because he was Crayge.
Yeah, right. Mr. Hall and even when I got bad, he always be keeping an eye on us. So he went to Sumner.
Yeah, and then I could come later on to find out here as a adult or whatever he is our cousin.
He's actually one of our relatives. Yeah. But I was in the hospital even my senior year because I had gotten sick, and he came to the hospital to visit me. I'm like, what? And he's like, soothing me and this, that, and the other, and it's just, that was cool. But yes, he came out to D.C. to visit me. Again, teachers. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. So then from there you went to Northeast, and you know, and me following behind you every
2 years. 2 years later,
yeah.
right?
And my little brother Lloyd was 3 years under me, so he wound up going to different schools than we did. He didn't.
Yeah, because we moved from 717 Everett to 632 Freeman. Our
Which
grandmother's
was on the other
house.
side of 7th Street.
And that meant he was a Grant student rather than a Douglas student. So he went to Grant Elementary School instead of Douglas. So he had a, but at first he was at Douglas. So I think he did have Miss Grant. I think he did have a few of the teachers.
I didn't know
really.
that. Yeah.
And then he had to transfer to Grant. And he went to Northeast for a little while, but I think we moved out to 6201 Everett. That would be my senior year, which would put him 7th grade.
Yeah, he went
So
to
he wouldn't have gone to Northeast for long. He went to Coronado.
Straight to Coronado, yeah.
Or he went straight. He didn't go to Northeast at all.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was Coronado.
No, the right
and
straight
then
off the
Sligo.
bat. He was Coronado and Sligo. Yeah, Sligo. Yeah.
And so I know our experiences and all our friends and stuff. We kind of pretty much had all the way from grade school all the way into high school and stuff
all
like that.
the way from grade school.
And a lot of, like you said, the science teachers and some of the other conversations and interviews and stuff, you talked about, who was it, some Mr. Pitts and some of these other.
It's not just the science teachers. The only reason I talk a lot about the science teachers is because, of course, I wound up being a scientist and they nurtured that. All of our teachers were really cool to me. I mean, you know, and they were like giving us their all.
And our sisters, Leslie and Stephen Bass. Now, you know, I remember, I guess I used to lay on Leslie's lap, and she was like, try to be almost a second mama to us.
She was. And if you look at one of our pictures where she's got you holding you as a baby on her hip. Don't you mess with my baby. Yeah. There's a picture. You see that look on her face, and she really
she was
is
protective. I mean, she used to she used to give us a lot of grief.
That's right. That's right. When mom's not there, you better do the right thing. I'm gonna be the one making sure that
she
I'm
made
the
me one
sister.
Well, she made me so mad one time. I felt like just so much anger in me, and then she sat on me. Remember? And and then I was like, I was just. I won't say how angry I was, but I was just.
Yeah, I know you were steaming. I know you were steaming.
Because I was the kind of person. Let's see. I guess because they always compared me to. How come you're not like Leslie? How come you're not like Stephen? How come you're not like James or whatever? Yeah. I was always a rebel. I would go the other direction.
Right. You did.
And like with you, remember, I was kind of. My grandmother used to laugh at me, said I was like her brother. Lonnie and stuff. Yeah, when I started doing something mischievous, she called it. But I was, you used to, when you made me mad, I would take your magnets.
You sure did.
And run out the yard and just
throw
it as far as I could.
No, you wouldn't do that. First of all, you come and find me and show me that you had found my magnets, and then run and show me you're throwing them. And then take off, so I couldn't get you. Yeah, that's
but
right.
You never, you never beat me up really on that.
None of us did. I mean, even when Leslie was disciplining us, it's like it was just regular, like being a mom trying to make sure we didn't do anything. And one of the transitions of my life was when, even though I was littler than my big sister, 5 years older than me. Somehow those male hormones made me stronger than her. So she was beating me up and everything. And I did a flip and put her between my legs. And she was shocked, but she was still holding my arm. And she said, I still got you. I said, wow, what has happened?
But I remember doing Bruce Lee movies and stuff like that. You started getting into karate and started learning.
A little bit, but I didn't hurt her and I wasn't going to hurt her. But it was like, wow, all of a sudden I'm becoming a little small man. And then you learn what it is for a sister to be 5 years smarter than you.
Yeah.
Even if she ain't stronger than you, that psychological warfare was amazing. I wish you just to spank me for the next 5 years, because I would lose those battles. She was valedictorian and as brilliant as can be. And so there was no way I could keep up with her as a little boy.
Well, I remember you used to, like building intercoms where you spy on her a little bit.
I sure did, and her boyfriend would come over, but I still would turn it off. While I still respected their privacy, but I'd turn it on every once in a while to listen to see if they were about to go, and then I turned it off. And then when I heard her say, when I heard Tommy-O say, goodbye, Leslie, and then I heard Leslie say, goodbye, Tommy-O, and then I take it on and I say, goodbye, Tommy-O. I started, after I hear Tommy-O's door, the door would close, I started hearing some rumbling near the speaker, because she evidently had focused on where that speaker was hidden. And then some real rumbling, and next thing I come up the stairs, she got a smile on her face, got a speaker in her hand, and a pencil, and she's just staring that speaker up. With a big grin on her face looking at me. Yeah, you're going to spy on me, look what happens to your speaker. Back in those days, those speakers were valuable because we didn't have much money.
Our sister's boyfriends, they used to take us.
They absolutely did.
They used
Tommy-O took us out, took us bowling, took
eating,
us all kinds of stuff.
whatever, and then his
without the
food
system
and stuff, and Stephen's boyfriends or whatever would take us with them, and on the trucks and different things. So
evidently our sisters, that was a way to win favor with our sisters.
And they would include you. I know Stephen and Leslie would include you in their learning too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
that's where you.
I was barely old enough. That's how I got in. That's how I really got into the high-end science. I was barely old enough when Stephen and Leslie went to Northeast and were working on science projects with Mr. Pitts. And doing those exploding wire, those plasma effects of exploding wires.
That was Leslie doing that?
That's Leslie, yeah, and visual acuity and flicker response of the scientific name for crickets. That's Stephen. They most of the time they do that either after school or on the weekends. And when it was a weekend, they would actually sometimes take us, but me more so because I was older. Lloyd would be way too young probably to go there. And you'd see the big kids doing science, and they'd be tolerant of us, but they'd be big kids, all friendly with each other and talking big kid stuff and doing that science stuff. And I was like, wow, I want to try and do these things. That's Mr. Pitt's mentorship.
But Lloyd, he was always so much younger than us that he was seeing everything. Because he told me one time, he said, I watch you making all your mistakes, because I was just jacking up in high school, doing bad things, and he's like, nah, I ain't gonna go that way, So he always was just checking things out in the cut or whatever.
He really was, and also we would exclude him because it'd be we didn't exclude him, but he was so young. Like in the road racing stuff, he'd always push the button too hard, and it just made the track go off the track, and so he just went over and over and over again. He'd push it too hard to go off the track. But let me tell you what he would do. I'd build some little device or something. He so much wanted to be a part of it. Next thing I know, he's spending time on his own. He makes the device I make this big, he makes a better one this big. Even as a child. Yeah, do the same thing, and he'd be making
he was always good at architecture, but
engineering and architecture.
And his dad, Big Lloyd and stuff, was just really that kind of design mind and mechanical design mind and stuff. Also that and just had a way to see things, and just his perspective on things, and because I remember he was designing things just with metal, but he was a perfectionist, like you said, as they call Type A, and that to where everything had to be aligned perfect,
or else he didn't want to do it, or he'd tear it back down,
exactly.
All over again.
And I think, like you said, young Lloyd and stuff would look at that and say, okay, I don't want to be that.
Not quite that much, but
I see what he's doing, and I think all of us wound up seeing that, and the way
I was not anywhere near good enough to, so you and Lloyd can still do that.
So our grandmother, we called her Nan, Eleanor Harriet, and she would be, just be able to build things, work with hammers. She would do all this, cut things and do things all by herself, and she took care. She was pretty much what raised us, and while my mother worked
And would turn little small things into miracles and little small meals to feed the masses.
Yes,
and all
spread it
kinds of
all out.
stuff.
Like take some
make
some rice and put some chili and throw everything else in there, whatever, and make a breakfast or whatever.
That creative genius that can turn very little into some really nice things.
And Lord was right there. It's like every weekend or something, or every few weekends or whatever, he would bring us he would be able to get a slab of barbecue or something like that, and we get a bone apiece.
Yeah, I love that, boy. Yeah, that was a rare treat, man. I was like, whoa.
And they take us to Red X, down there where they had a drive-in thing, Riverside drive-in. And so we got to see like In Like Flint and what was it, the Dean Martin movie, where he spy movies and space, Jerry Lewis movies. Matt Helm, and those kind of things or whatever, and again, like I told you, whatever they had what was it? X-rated.
That's right. They had that wall with the X-rated.
X-rated.
I just remember
and I
that
used to
when you were talking with me. Peek over.
Boy, sit back. Sit back in that seat. And I'm like, okay. Looking around the corner, whatever. But I got into music and stuff, so you played violin, didn't you?
Yeah, 4th through 6th grade. Mr. Haroon was my music teacher. Yeah.
And Leslie and Stephen, they all played. Did they play violin or something?
I think so.
Yeah,
Leslie's artistic and musically talented. She definitely could play piano too. But I think all of us the 3 older ones did violin in grade school, and then you did trumpet. That was your way of doing your own
we started
thing.
that. Remember, they started us young at Douglas. They started us.
So you even did trumpet at
Douglas, and that's why I got a little cornet, a little trumpet, small trumpet, and then eventually.
And Mom.
Well, she was a trumpet player.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She was a little cornet trumpet player, but she'd struggle and make that money to get some, get that little. Because I think you actually got a cornet. You didn't have to rent it, or did you have to rent it?
I got one. Yeah, she bought me a little bundle.
And that was in grade school. See, our violins we just rented.
And then in Northeast, she got me a guitar. Went up to Sam's pawn shop and got me a little $35 guitar. Which is a lot of money back then.
All this stuff was a lot of money. She got me a telescope. When I was, I guess I'd be 10 or 13 or something.
Now, in your senior year, you pretty much had excelled to the point to where you were going to JUCO or were you doing Sumner at all?
It was, I did. What it was I went to summer school every single summer. So even from the 9th grade. So. But
you was working at Taylor's once. Was it just one summer or was it a couple of summers?
Might have been a couple of summers, but I ended it. And it would be on weekends too, but I ended it just because of that robbery.
Which Taylor's had those burgers that was so good.
Yeah, and I'd bring them home when it was.
And they never would give up that secret, or it was that. What was it? It was kind of it's a hickory kind of, or some kind of something.
They mix it, and they have that grill, and they put their little sauce on there. Yep.
You're vegetarian now.
Sure.
And you've been that long. How long?
Oh, now about.
When you went to Tanzania, were you a vegetarian?
Yes. By then I was definitely. So this would be like almost. This would be 40 years or something. More than 40 years.
Okay, let me get back to where I was at with you was doing JUCO and Sumner, and you would doing.
So I did 1 hour pre-calc. And then I went to JUCO. Now, in those days, they wouldn't let the students from Sumner take physics or calculus. So believe it or not, I wasn't allowed to take physics or calculus.
Was it political or was it?
This is the dual enrollment program. They were just afraid we wouldn't be able to
comprehend it.
Yeah, right. So I'm a physicist today, but I was not allowed.
Wow.
And it was just because the Wyandotte kids and the other kids could take it. So I wasn't allowed to take, I tried, they wouldn't let me take calculus and physics. And they said they'll take the chance to let me take chemistry.
Wow. Wow.
So I did take the chemistry, and I took the philosophy and some other things. And in the chemistry, they did the National Intercollegiate Chemistry exam. I got the first time perfect score.
Wow.
And the next nearest guy was half. And on the SATs, I got a perfect score in chemistry.
Wow.
Chemistry SAT, and so and then the physics teacher that summer, he evidently, the chemistry folks had said enough positive things. He said, okay, you weren't allowed to take physics, but they were making the move from state to the new campus up on state, up on out, further out on state.
Because it was
They
where
were downtown.
Yeah.
Down in uptown Kansas City, 10th Street, and
right there at like 10th and State or something like that. Right?
Down there, and then it went out to whatever that is, 62nd. It's 75th and State.
Yeah, something like that.
out
Or
there.
it's 60. It's 64.
And so they had me as he hired me as a lab assistant for that summer, and had me help
got somebody beating.
set up experiments for the new physics labs, and he would even come out and take the telescope out in the parking lot and show me galaxies and stuff. Even the JUCO folks were really cool. But the counselors were who wouldn't let me take calculus. And of course I could take it. I said, it's all right, I'll take it in MIT.
And that's where you went next?
Yeah.
Did you get a scholarship, or you had to pay your own way?
No. I had a National Merit Scholarship, and MIT is a needs-based. So the thing about MIT is all you do is get in, and then they're gonna make sure that you pay, that you pay an amount to make sure that you're responsible, and then the rest of it they cover.
Okay.
So no matter who you are,
So you did
that's
that
for all students.
You did that for how long? Were you at MIT before you graduated?
4 years
4 years.
in physics.
And then from there you went
Stanford.
and was that scholarship or paid?
Oh, yeah. By then, scholarship and fellowship,
And
grad school.
And you did that to get a master's?
No,
Oh,
for PhD. And the thing
where'd you
is,
get your
even
master's from?
Once you pass the PhD qualifier, you get it automatically.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's en route, sort of.
Okay.
But they don't admit people that aren't PhD programs. So if you fail, you get a master's. It's that kind of thing. If you fail at Stanford, you get the master's as a kind of.
When were you at UC Berkeley? And what was that about?
That was postdoc. So after I got my PhD, I got a Chancellor's Distinguished Postdoctoral Fellow at University of California, Berkeley, and Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory. And I was working with Harry Morrison on actually. He got it for me, but he was saying, you go and do some high energy physics. I said, no, I'm going to work on what he's working on. He was a theoretical physicist working on quantum fluids.
Wow.
So I learned quantum fluids and worked with him for 2 years. And then after that, I did another postdoc, Ford Foundation National Research Council postdoc at Stanford Linear Acceleration.
Yeah, I remember I was in California during the time you was at, I think there and also at Stanford and stuff, and I know you used to do the Halloween thing, and you used to have me and Russell Hornsby helping you do it, where you made it really experiment. I mean, experience, I should say.
Yeah, right.
We setting out firecrackers and
having tarantulas down there in the lark, a maze where they have to feel their way to get out, and flipping them in the pitch dark. That's kind of dangerous stuff, but onto mattresses and hearing the screams and stuff. Yeah, that was a nice little fright night we would do. Lines would stretch out the door and around the block.
One thing Russell would always say about you is no matter what, I mean, how big you became, whatever, you was always down home and didn't ever talk down or look down on anybody, really. You know?
Well, I mean,
is that something that,
part of that is personality, but I wasn't alone that way. I lots of my classmates are like that. I mean, you know some of them yourself.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just a down to earth, group of really good people in my class, you know, and also.
I think our community was kind of bred that way during that time and stuff. There was always a few bullies and a few.
Oh yeah, there were bullies. Yes, I got beat up. I'm sure all of us got beat up. I got beat up by the bullies, but the so-called and actually after I was gonna say the so-called good kids, they were all kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But even the bullies, after they beat you up, mm-hmm. they know they had done wrong and they try and be friends.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
I noticed nowadays a lot of those same bullies are trying to be friends on Facebook, and mm-hmm. you know, and so I guess they've grown up too and seen,
they know what
experience life,
and the good thing about bullies in Kansas City, Kansas in those days, they weren't trying to permanently hurt you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they do stuff to humiliate you or you know hurt you a little bit, but they ain't trying to make blood draw or nothing like that.
Yeah. Cut, kill, shoot.
Yeah,
whatever.
none of that. No. Those bullies, I mean, they were bullies. They hurt you, but.
Well, you know, you came here to Kansas City here on, I guess you were getting that award yesterday, which was November the 15th, 2018, mm-hmm. in Wyandotte County, and was it District 500?
Yeah, it was Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools.
Public Schools mm-hmm. District gave you a Reason to Believe award. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, you know, it's Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. First of all, public school education. Mm-hmm. Well, they're trying to let you know that public school education mm-hmm. is not something yeah. to avoid or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those instructors we have were public school teachers.
Right.
And they themselves is no longer Mr. Pitts. It's Dr. Pitts. You understand? You know, these guys themselves are scholars and
you were telling me that Sumner, you know, let's see, was formed I guess the history of Sumner is out there and stuff for people to recognize and stuff, but they were formed because a lot of the black educators and stuff couldn't get jobs in universities and things like that. And
Sumner formed. Now I don't want to make a mistake, but I've read the books and stuff. Sumner formed because there was a crippled black kid who was using his fishing. It wasn't even one of the students, but using his fishing rifle to hunt in Big 11 Lake. And three white kids came and started beating them up. So then, you know, one of them got shot, but not killed.
Yeah.
And so later that evening, I think they were going to come to the courthouse and get him. And the preacher got the black folks to surround the house and had a shotgun or something and said, if anyone crosses this line, some's going to hell. Or something. And they backed off. But they kicked all the black kids out of Kansas City, Kansas high school. And so then, in order to be constitutionally right, they had to have a place for folks to go, and that was Sumner. So that's how Sumner actually started.
But a lot of the educators were.
And then after that, of course, the best of the community, a lot of time became teachers, right? Exactly. They were our teachers and our doctors and our few lawyers that we had. Yes, absolutely. So that's the tradition I came from.
Yep, and we all benefited from it. And our community was just always supportive to where the point where if we messed up in school, teachers might whip you. You know, in a lot of cases they did. Disciplined you or whatever. I mean, either whipped
the
us.
Same as if they were your parents.
Yeah, or they, in some cases, like, we had Mr. Brady either spank us or we had to do laps around the field, which he said was another way of conditioning us, making us work out. So it really was for our benefit, that part of it. But the other thing was when you got home and the parents found out about it.
The parents found out about that's the
now,
real.
Now you really got to get kids. Like, you got one.
You give me a bad name.
Go out and pick me a switch.
Even worse, if I really messed up, they'd say, we're going to get Crayge to go out and get you a switch. Crayge would come back with a thorn bush. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, right.
Well, the thing about it, if you came back with that little twig.
If you came back with the little twig.
You get.
Right. Okay, now you're really in trouble.
Yeah, it's like a little, like a mechanical. like, whoa, they doing rudiments on you, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
But
never with no intent to really hurt you.
we always said, I mean, you said it years ago while our sister Leslie was alive and stuff that, you know, that should, you know, that somebody should have known that, you know, there was 5 of us, you know, we were all raised up as brothers and sisters, no half brother, no half, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you, me, Leslie, and Stephen Bass, and my little brother Lloyd and stuff, all excelled, you know, more than the average person or whatever. I don't know, you know, what it was, and I think it came from just our parents and community and everything just all came together at the right time and in the right situation.
Absolutely, we had a decent family, and also our big sisters set the tone.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Leslie became medical microbiology and dentistry, and valedictorian, and then Stephen the next year, physics,
Yeah.
and valedictorian, and then a few years later, me,
Yeah.
you know, and I became a physicist, and I was valedictorian, and you know, so the tone was set.
Yeah.
You know,
And we had such you know, it was intelligent grandparents and mother and fathers and stuff, you know. It's like, you know, and they just, you know, they were there for us, you know, too.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Absolutely.
That's what I was saying. You know.
Those are the things that were never discouraged. You know,
Yeah.
you know, our mom didn't want us to say, "Oh, can I have a blah blah blah," because she knew it would hurt her when she couldn't afford it. So
We were
I
disciplined.
never asked for anything.
Yeah.
Somehow she would know. I'm gonna give him some walkie-talkies. I'm gonna give him, you know, electric light.
Now, we were disciplined, you know, and
Right.
sometimes we thought it was excessive, you know. But now in today's life and stuff, I see how some kids probably need something like that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, parents. I think parents should be able to raise their kids however they want to raise them. I do think that. Now, I mean, you know, people want to use the excuse that some are gonna abuse, and you don't want kids to be abused.
Yeah.
But you know, parents are the ones who really know what's best for their kid, and I always support. Even when I see parents fussing in ways I don't think they should on the metro and the subways and stuff, I am just right there with them, supporting them, saying, look, that's their kids. They are the ones who are having to raise them that way and figure out how to get them to do what they got to do. Because I think a lot of the problems come when you start having, you know, trying to fit the whole society in one way of doing things, and you know our society, that is not its history. And so then if you tell people they can't do this to their kids or can't do that to the kids, you know, when in fact, you know, I got spanked. I had no doubt.
Yeah.
My grandmother and my mother loved me.
Yeah.
And in fact, one time, my grandmother, you know, Zan spanked me.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, I hate you." And her face was so hurt.
Yeah.
She just stopped. And her face was so hurt. And I started crying. I said, "Oh, no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it." That means she was not spanking me in the wrong way.
Yeah.
There was no way she was spanking me in the wrong way.
Right.
But you know, yeah, she just walked away, and I told her I hated her. And you know, to this day, I wish I had not said that.
And how do you want to be remembered?
I've never thought about being remembered, but I just, you know, I do want to make a difference. Yeah, I do think I tried to do that. You know, I don't know how it always works. You know, I make a difference, and sometimes I'm not sure how it turns out. But the one thing I think is important, because I'm also kind of a spiritual scientist. You know.
That's kind of different, isn't it? I mean, you know, because most scientists are usually straight,
I mean, a lot of
logic.
a lot of them are, and some are just straight up atheists.
Yeah.
Some of the nicest ones. You know. Some of the really nice ones, you know, do the good things. You know, they don't believe. But when I feel like I have an obligation, I really do feel this, especially because, you know, I've lived a somewhat happy life. I consider myself happy. To try to leave the world a better place and try to make sure that every relationship that I have, as best as I can, that I
put positive into it, not negative. Even if it's transient, that's just what I try to do. And it's not so much being remembered, because I try not to get my ego in there. Now, if I feel like I've done that, I somehow get enough invigoration internally to make me feel like I'm kind of doing the right thing. Keep myself clean on the inside, which is a non-trivial thing. I think that is our task as human beings. Try to stay as clean on the inside as you can be, and it isn't that easy.
And advice to this generation that's growing up in the, I hate to say Trump era, but that in this mindset of it was just as bad during the time our parents were growing up in a different way, but
things have been worse in the past. Of course, we have ups and downs, but there's a general up trend to the world. I mean, hey, all of us are in better shape than the Queen of England in 1,000 years ago, right? I mean, we got horseless carriages, we do all kinds of
we're
stuff.
not out in the cotton fields getting beat to death. And
right. I mean, there's things, we got a long way to go. But actually what you're asking is a really hard question. Folks try to make it easier on those who come after than it was on them. I think there has to be a balance, because you want people to be able to be strong, to face what it is that they have to face, So in other words, I don't think it's a good idea I don't think you should be training people to be entitled or to feel entitled. I really think that you want people to know how to work hard and do right. And it doesn't matter how much you've done in the past. Doing right is a lifetime battle, I think. And those strengths that you learn, having discipline to achieve in whatever it is that you're interested in, are the same strengths that you use to keep your internal integrity and internal cleanness from being corrupted by some of the things you see going on around you. I've always had the recognition that any human being can catch the illness of any other human being. So I've never said I could never do that. I do say, well, I seem to be wired so that it's unlikely that I will be that way. But if you see enough bad around you, or if you have enough people spouting crazy things, the world starts becoming crazy, and we kind of see that in the political atmosphere sometimes.
Yeah, right? I know you're right in the middle of it in D.C. to where it surrounds you at work, in the schools, with the way the way it changes up with the personnel. They bring in younger people as we get older and stuff that they want to put over you or try to anyway.
Well, look, it doesn't matter how old or young you are. Sometimes folks want to put the ones who are going to do what they're going to do because to the other people's benefit, whatever it is. Life is a struggle, and insecure people are going to act insecure. I have never seen a happy person need to put another person down in order to feel good about themselves. So those folks who do that kind of stuff, the best I can suggest, try and stay out of their way as much as you can. But of course, if a bully's gonna beat you up, you deserve to be able to try to get away, or don't become like the bully, but you deserve to not get beat up. I'm not one of these people who say that you should go ahead and take a lick. I just don't. I can't think that. You shouldn't have the good people feeling that they got to take licks. I think that, you want to preserve your goodness.
All right, well, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure while you was in town and stuff that you and me kind of had a conversation about, that was more personal and stuff about, some of what you and me kind of went through growing up and who you are and stuff, and where you came from, which is the dot.
And who we are, Craig, because we've been a unit our whole life, and I know what you do for our community where you are. So, it's just good to have family.
Well, that was one reason I came back. People were asking me in California, why are you going back to Kansas City or whatever? Going back to Kansas or whatever. I was coming from the Oakland area, and everything was hitting pretty hot during that hammer time, and in vogue, and everybody was all, I think everybody was getting ready to go to Atlanta and go to LA. And why are you going back to Kansas City? Because I had pretty much done what I wanted to do, which was establish myself as a, as an artist, producer, engineer,
world class.
And I knew, folks and respected one, whatever, to where I had a reputation. And I, wanted to do like a Leon Brady taught us and stuff, come back and give back to my community. And I always wanted to do that, and I said I was going to do it. And that's what I've been continuing to do here since I've been here, since 1998. So, and will continue probably to do the rest of my life, just influence some of the youngsters. And, they get to see you and stuff and see, other people around me and see my talent's different than yours, and my, they call me a genius in other aspects and stuff. I say, a legend and stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? But I understand it and stuff. I know we have paid our dues, and we've tried to live a life that always, as I was always taught, to keep growing. You told me that a long time ago. Keep on learning, don't ever stop, and always be open to listen, and learn.
See, it's like, even if you fall down, you just get back up and keep. So always walk forward.
Yeah.
Just keep walking forward. Make sure you're not just gonna stand still.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.